Brendan Gill shuts down Jasmine Crockett and destroys what little credibility she had left after her ridiculous speech in front of the entirety of Congress. Let's dive in.
Sitting Attorney General go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law. The reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong.
I now recognize the gentleman for Texas for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having this incredibly important hearing where we can better understand the systematic abuses of the Biden administration for the past 4 years. Our colleagues on the other side want to encourage us to move on from a federal government that was weaponized against the American people that they are supposed to represent and protect. Move on after our FBI was targeting parents who were concerned that their children were being indoctrinated into radical transgender ideologies in their public schools. Move on after the left weaponized the federal government to create a mass censorship industrial complex violating our First Amendment rights. We're supposed to move on after they targeted Catholic Americans, traditional Americans, and labeled them violent extremists. We're told that there's a problem that we can't agree on what's right and wrong, and I agree that is a huge problem. It's a problem that the other side of the aisle can't recognize that censorship is wrong. It's a problem that the other side of the aisle can't recognize that it's wrong for the FBI to target parents concerned about what they're learning in their schools. It's a problem that the other side of the aisle can't recognize that it's a problem whenever our federal government goes after Christian Americans. That's a serious problem, and that's something we should be able to agree on, but unfortunately, we can't. We saw unprecedented levels of weaponization under the Biden administration against the same American people that it was supposed to be looking out for.
What a breath of fresh air. I'm thankful for Brendan Gill, but after that rant I just heard, I swear I lost a few brain cells. Folks, seriously, I remember how low the bar was when AOC came on the scene. Remember, folks, make Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Biden again. Okay, I remember just how low that bar used to be. And then Jasmine Crockett comes along and decides to limbo right underneath it. It's a race to the bottom with the entire Democrat Party, and they're out here complaining about Elon Musk.
Christopher Wray created an internal memo that slandered traditional Catholics as anti-Semites and white supremacists. It suggested that the FBI monitor traditional Catholics and even set the stage for FBI informants entering places of worship. At the same time, remember, this was happening while Joe Biden was, of course, facilitating the mass immigration of illegal criminals into our country. Not keeping us safe in that instance, that's for sure. Thankfully, and I think the American people are very thankful that we finally have a president and a head of the FBI and head of the DOJ who actually represent us and want to protect us.
Well, yeah, maybe when Elon Musk finds out that, USAID is basically an arm of the Democrat Party, funding all their friends and family with your taxpayer dollars. Yeah, that's right. And she's talking in code, using that to raise money, to push her brand. When the reality is she was educated in a private school system. She doesn't normally talk like this. She's putting on a front. She's acting. And I'm so tired of actors in politics, unless, of course, their name is Ronald Reagan. But acting in politics, it just reeks of inauthenticity. And you throw it right out the window. Okay, we know you're acting. We know you're complaining about nothing. We know you're tilting at windmills. Jasmine Crockett's out here whining about Elon Musk shutting off the gravy train. But Brandon Gill, he says absolutely nothing incorrect about the Biden administration. The reality is Catholic Christians, Catholic Americans, were monitored by the FBI just because they were pro-life. All right, I'm a Protestant. I don't care about the Pope in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I'm glad they've got a new one. Hope it's a change from the last. But I'm very Protestant. I don't care about that stuff. But Catholic Christians who are pro-life, who share 99% of my values, they were out there, literally being persecuted by the FBI. That's a problem. And the Democrats, they did nothing. Nothing. They sat by and let it happen. Then, when American parents realized, what's this garbage in our school's curriculum? What are our kids actually learning? Why are there all these LGBT books in the school library for minors? Not just minors, but elementary school kids. This is happening across America, by the way. The left-wing agenda has permeated every single local school district you can think of. It's awful what they've done to kids' minds. And their bright idea, well, let's throw a pride parade for the children. Brandon Gill isn't just listing grievances. He's pointing out that American rights, not just voters' rights, but American rights, were stripped from parents, from Catholics, from people using their First Amendment rights to stand up and say, I disagree with this. Things need to change. No wonder Donald Trump won all 7 swing states. Because this nonsense just keeps getting worse and worse. And the American people, they don't like it. Only a small fraction of the Democrat Party even thinks this is a good idea. Under the Biden administration, the FBI, CIA, NSA, pretty much anyone you call deep stating, by the way. I've got to stop with the air quotes because it's real. The deep state exists. It's a bureaucratic machine with zero oversight because of this catch-22. If you trim the fat from the federal bureaucracy, you make it harder for people to work those jobs. I get that it's an issue at the state, local, and federal levels. But at some point, you need an outsider to come in and say, you're wasting taxpayer dollars. You're gone. You're wasting funds in X, Y, and Z departments. This can be standardized, made faster. That's what the Department of Government Efficiency is supposed to do. And for some reason, people thought it was a good idea to let Jasmine Crockett talk about this. And one final thought, Jasmine Crockett talking about fake news. Please, don't lecture the American people about what's real and what's not. The average American knows that most of what politicians say is a bunch of bull crap. So yeah, don't tell us you're wetting our bags and calling it rain. Okay, we know better. We've seen it all, heard it all. Come on, folks. The bar is so low for the Democrat Party. Brandon Gill is calling it out correctly. And to make matters worse, remember, folks, the Biden administration trampled on your inalienable rights. That's the truth. And instead, Jasmine Crockett thinks it's a good idea to complain about Elon Musk. Give me a break. Folks, don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.